and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Security cameras were installed in the meeting room for visual recordings and be used for security purposes only. Members of the public could be recording the meeting. The executive session was held after the agenda meeting on March 26th for legal matters involving the township. Amendments to the agenda. Anybody have any amendments? The minutes, March 5th, 2024, regular meeting. Take action on that.
I move to approve the March 5th, 2024 meeting minutes as submitted.
Motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes. Bills, general and stormwater funds, March 6th through April 2nd, 2024, to be paid. Take action on that.
I move to pay the bills for the general and stormwater fund from March 6th to April 2nd, 2024, as submitted with the signing of the checks after this meeting.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes. All right, we'll move to public comments, limited to 3 minutes per person. Public comments. Laura?
Laura Dangle, 425 Klein Road. Just want to say I'm disappointed that there's not an item, that there have been some amendments to the agenda since the agenda meeting last week. There's not an explanation, an item on here for an explanation to the public hearing process that I had requested and was anticipating the solicitor would give us a briefing on. Is that something that we're still going to get this evening?
Actually, that's my fault. I didn't request that, I guess.
I did provide just some options to the board via email again later this afternoon for that. And I would first suggest to, direct residents to section 908 of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, which lays out the general procedure for all administrative hearings arising under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, which a PRD does. So that gives you the best info that you can get about the structure. But the board also is going to have an informational and educational session themselves regarding a public hearing, and at that time I'd like to create sort of an outline, an abstract based off of the board's preferences, I guess, that can be disseminated before the hearing, electronically or made available to the township to come in and pick up a copy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, disappointing. I was anticipating a little more, so.
Got a lot going on. So.
And so do we. We do too,
Yep.
to prepare for this. And we as a whole, all of the residents of the township. You've removed an item for the right to know request that was under the administration. I just want to say you sat here, members of this board, previous members of this board have sat here and publicly and privately accused me of costing the township thousands of dollars. You have called me out on meetings. You have berated me in public and humiliated me. And now you're saying that I've been following the correct process all along. And the right to know request is the process that everyone in this township needs to take to obtain information. It is ridiculous that you guys cannot make this information publicly available. There are reports that are public information that should and could be posted on the website. There are municipalities from Cranberry Township to South Fayette that will post information well in advance of meetings. Cranberry Township spent $700,000 to $900,000 having an engineering study done on their wastewater treatment plant. How do I know that? Because it's available on their website. South Fayette Township has an agenda on an item on their agenda for I'm gonna have to ask if this goes on. So, an item on their agenda that contained over 30 documents in connection with townhomes for discussion and consideration of a conditional use application and preliminary subdivision application. These reports included a project narrative, plan set, engineering review letter, planning commission letter, county review letter, ENS report, geotechnical report, and more. These are basic documents that are available to the public. And these are not, the copyright thing is, it's far-fetched, okay? This is information that we need to prepare for the hearing. I have a lot more on that I'm gonna hold. Because the next thing I want to talk about is the water line extension. I mentioned this at the agenda meeting, and I have to say it again tonight for the public record. I have in the past, and I will ask publicly again on the record this evening, that the project has been on the various boards' minds for 20 years. 20 years. You have said you are going to bring water to this township. Westview was not an option 20 years ago for this water line. Why is it that this board has given the municipal authority full reign of all of the funding that is coming from the government to bring critical infrastructure to New Sewickley residents that will not be getting water from this project? There is no doubt a need for water in this township. It does not have to come from Westview. It's time to press pause. Costs are going up by the day, and the municipal authority is at risk of spending through the ARPA funding and LSA money on the interconnect and tap into Westview. Bids are now in on the cost of the project. Can you give us an update? Do you know what these bids were?
You heard what the explanation was last night.
We don't know yet. It's time the board stands up for the residents of New Sewickley Township. You have indirectly appointed the municipal members, and you owe the residents a public hearing on what and who the water service provider will be that is running the lines through the majority of the township.
There was a public meeting last night. There's a public meeting tonight.
I'm asking for a public hearing. I am asking for a public hearing for the residents of New Sewickley to have an opportunity to voice their opinions on who will be their water service provider. Is it going to be Ambridge from the Liberty Hill service area? Is it going to be Westview from the Tri-County service area, or is it going to be Beaver Falls? We have three options. We have three options to bring water into this township. 5 years ago, Westview became an option for one reason and one reason only. And I'm not going to get into it, but I have all of the documents, and you know. And finally, I'm going to leave this on your thoughts and hearts this evening. Residents are concerned about New Sewickley Township. They're concerned about the present. They have issues with the here and the now, and they have been repeatedly turned away. They are beyond concerned about the future. I cannot tell you how many times over the last 2 years they have reached out to me with thanks and gratitude, but moreover, concerns and fear. They said, "We fear for our lives. We fear for our families' lives, for our homes and our properties, for our small businesses and our livelihoods. People have witnessed, and some personally experienced, much of the same I have. This is not the way it should be. Residents have witnessed board members publicly berating anyone amongst yourselves who questions a decision that is before the board. They have also witnessed the retaliation that this township has placed on them, whether it's through letters of cleaning up their yards or the like. I personally have experienced this Again, I know I'm over time, I'm not going to get into it. But at the February Supervisors meeting, a vote was before the board, and you had a discussion on Dollar General. Supervisor Resch, I went back through my minutes, and you made a statement, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But prior to your vote, you stated, I wish I knew what the people wanted. Do you really want to know what the residents want? If so, make your board and your staff more welcoming. Make your information broadly accessible and open and transparent to all. Your personal cell phone contact information on the website. Make it known to the people that your primary role and purpose is to represent the interest of the township residents. Welcome concerns and expression of ideas and difference of opinions. Communicate publicly about critical infrastructure and complex draft budgets. Allow for flexibility in policy, which I appreciate.
You're way over time.
I appreciate that. Thank you. There's complex issues, and I appreciate that you've done so. In conclusion, answering questions can demonstrate your commitment to helping residents regain your trust and repair the damages you have caused to your most important function, making our wonderful township even better. We are long-term and lifelong residents of New Sewickley. Freedom is our school district, and we are proud of our roots and where we live. Let us be proud of our leaders as well.
We're all members of the township. This board is volunteer. The planning commission board, the municipal board, every board that you berate are volunteers for this township. They're not salaried employees. And we're doing the best we can do with what we have. And I think we do a pretty good job. Our planning commission job, they do a fantastic job. The water authority is doing what they're assigned to do. We have a luxury of having a water authority, municipal authority. So let them do their job. They haven't fallen on their face yet at all. So demanding to take over something that doesn't need taken over is not what we intend to do here. So thank you for your comments. We respectfully disagree, and we're going to move on.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any public? Mr. Horn.
My basic question is why she's talking about all the residents. There's 7,000 residents in this township. She's the only one that I ever hear from. I've never heard from, at my meetings, I've heard from people, and they've all been addressed and worked out. Why are you the only one that speaks up about all the residents? I don't think you speak for 7,000 residents.
Because some people don't know how to speak up.
Whose fault's that?
And they don't want to get a target on their back as well.
Who would have a target on their back?
All right, to speak, you have to stand up and give your name if you do.
My name's Virginia Smith. I'm a township resident of about 11 years now. And yeah, I worry about saying something because I've seen and heard what has happened to people that do speak up.
You don't have to worry about saying anything. You get 3 minutes at our meeting to voice your
I was just
opinion.
answering his question. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't want anybody to be afraid to come to a meeting and speak their mind. You get 3 minutes to do it. So we try to keep an open conversation. We don't want to shut anybody down. We're residents just like you are. We want the best there is for this township, and we're trying to accomplish that. So. Any MS4 comments? Since we've had a tremendous amount of rain today.
Hopefully it works.
Yeah,
God's listening.
I have a comment, Laura Dangle.
3 minutes, Cora.
It's not going to take that long. We have a problem. We have a big problem with the water runoff. You've seen it. You're spending a lot of money on these stormwater projects, $115,000 getting paid out this month. You've spent $200,000 in the past at Green Valley. It's flooded. You're going to spend $120,000, $30,000 to repave the trails. And where's the stream bank stabilization? You know, there's a lot of studies, engineering studies that could go into how we can control the flooding before we bring more water into the township, before we bring more pervious surfaces and rooftop runoffs into the township. And what are we doing here? Bringing in sewer, bringing in water, and bringing in more water, and flooding out more things, and paying for parking or trails in the park. This is where we work and we play. And roads are shut down, and people are paying stormwater fees that you're not providing us with.
The roads were shut down everywhere the day long. So it wasn't just in Newswick.
You're not providing us with the updates that we ask for on the stormwater projects. If you're doing the work, put it on the website and make it public. Make it publicly accessible. Let people know what you're doing.
All right. Enough of that.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
Craig Liston. I've been a resident 55 years. Today, I took time out of my day where a lot of people don't, other than some of the supervisors, because I seen them. I seen Martin, I seen Fritz, Krause was everywhere today, Ronnie was out in a little white car. Powell Road, they put a lot of money in it. You could take me. MS4, they put a lot of money in that road up there. And I tell you what, you ride up there, how water's running down in them catch basins, it's working. Down in William Park, they did it. I wasn't for it. I think it's a waste of money at times, like different things, but it's working. Green Valley, I rode over there and talked to the guy that cuts grass. What's his name? Rob. There ain't no way you're going to stop that from flooding. Come on. How are you going to stop that from flooding? You're not. My place is flooded today, William Park. I feel sorry for the people on Brown Road that are flooded right now. It's going up to their houses. But this MS4, I wasn't crazy about it. But guess what? It's working. Powell Road's amazing. They had to go up there constantly doing them ditches, constantly cleaning them out and everything. They're working. One more thing, get back to public comment. I'm going back because I got 3 minutes. You guys are going to be damned if you do a good job, damned if you don't. Taxes haven't been raised, what, in 20 years? You guys are going to be damned when you guys got to raise taxes. Because sooner or later, we might have to. If this don't happen over there at Petruska's, you got Dollar General going on over there by Little Super. I think it's great. I lived here 55 years. I hunted in all these woods. I'm not going to lose that. I get around probably much as anybody in this township. And I'm going to say one thing. I don't hear too much negative about you guys. Dwayne's been on the board for 30-some years. Dwayne, and they don't put targets on people's back. If they do, I'd be the one that have a target on my back. And I did piss a lot of people off up here before. But guess what? When I leave here, we talk. I piss a lot of supervisors off, but we talk when we leave here. Anybody got a... The thing is in this township, we only come here to complain to these guys that put hard work in this township when it pertains to us. I come to all the meetings usually. But only times a lot of these people come, the residents, is when they got something to bitch about. You guys are doing a good job. Keep it up.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Liston.
I would like to make one comment about Green Valley Park, because I spend a lot of time down there. Before we did this, the turnpike was dumping, literally, when it rained, hundreds, if not thousands of gallons of water into the park. It would run down, it would run right straight down between the baseball fields. I mean, you'd walk around the concession stands, there's water everywhere. Since we put that swale in, and then last summer the guys went down and they dug out, we got all the things connected. It's not like that anymore. We take care of all that water coming from the turnpike, and it's 250% better. I go down occasionally and follow the water through, and it goes slowly through, a nice casual way down to the river. It's hundreds of percent better. So I'm sorry, but the Green Valley Park project, to me, was a total success. I mean, it's got more it could be done, but it's way, way better than it used to be.
Thank you. That's what we need to hear. That's why we have to have somebody ask these questions, because we don't have the information being publicly available to us. There's no success stories on the website. There's nothing that's being talked about. So thank you for your updates.
I agree. MS4 I know gets the bad mouth, but it has helped us do so many things that we would not have been able to afford before. And it's just improved the township in all directions. I can show you, because I work with the guys occasionally last year, and it's just, there's just places that needed to be done years ago that we now can afford, so, you know, MS4 is not something that's really been bad for us, it's been good for us, anyways.
Part of the problem is we have limited money. So the MS4 gives us that little extra that we can do certain things, and we do fix things that I questioned the road department on, even homeowner stuff. Homeowners, they've gotta fix their own. They're supposed to, by ordinance. We're going out fixing some of that stuff where it's overcoming, culling on roads and things like that. So we're stepping up a little more than we ever used to, because we have the funds to do it. And we have a road department that has the wherewithal and the knowledge and the equipment to do it. So we can't do everything all the time, all at once, but we are stepping up.
There's a homeowner down by Little Super that's
There's
gonna
lots
need
of
your
them.
help.
I'm just saying there's lots
He's
of them.
getting flooded out by Dollar General.
There's a lot
So
of-
make it accessible to everybody, you know,
Well,
let,
they can come and tell us what their problems are. We'll see what we can do with them, but we can't promise to fix every problem of every, I see the pictures too. Water running down the driveways. They gotta fix their own. You know, you gotta take care of your own. MS4 says you gotta keep your own water on your own lot.
well, this is from Dollar General.
Well, we're not gonna get into all that. Let's not.
I'd like to make a comment too.
Go ahead, Fritz.
Where I live, we had through the help of MS4 and LSSE, we have two ponds, one's the Economy and one's the New Sewickley, and I mean huge ponds. And we were designated as I always get this mixed up, retention pond. And all the water that ran off the streets and sewers, that water never left, because right over the hill, people couldn't sit out in the porches because there was mosquitoes. Used to hear the frogs every morning croaking, all kind of problems. Then we went to court with the builder, the person had lost it, and it became a detention pond, which means the water comes in, it fills up. This morning my wife said, "Did you see that water? I thought I had a leak. I thought I had another leak." There's a 3-foot pipe that catches all the runoff. It looked like Niagara Falls vertically. There was so much water. But probably tomorrow, or the next day, maybe 2 days, it slowly drains out. We have no more issues with that, because we went from retention to detention. And it naturally filters out. It made our lives great. That's just one example, and maybe someday it'll be that way for everybody. But you have to spend money.
Jan, one more thing. The planning commission knew all about the problems over with Dollar General and the water runoff, and they've dealt with it. It's not done yet, but you guys, Al, tell them what they're gonna do up there to take care of some of the runoff. Dollar General is gonna pick up some of that water and take it away, and it should be better when it's there.
Any development in the state, specifically in New Sewickley, has to retain all the water on their property, and no more can run off after development than prior to development. So I don't know how you're saying there's a flood over there and it's all Dollar General's fault. I doubt it. It just ain't gonna happen. They are retaining all the water they're supposed to. Of course, it's not done yet. They did strip the land, so there would be some runoff prior to getting the retention ponds done. They went out of their way on our recommendation to make sure no water ran across the road that was running across the road prior to development. They redistributed their pipes and whatnot to retain the water on the property. So
But we had made additional requests of Dollar General because of the existing flooding already, because there was already a large flooding problem. So, you know, it's kind of tough. They only started, a week and a half ago. and then this heavy rain. So obviously, anything that they're required to do just isn't in place yet.
Nobody would have anticipated this,
No,
so.
no,
Would you call
so,
this- You wouldn't call this a normal
No.
storm, would you? I mean,
It's 500 or 1,000 year rain.
yeah, yeah, so, I mean, it's unfortunate that this happened before the development was done, but because the flooding condition was already there, we made and requested, and they accommodated to change their plan. So they weren't, nothing going forward will be distributed into what's already,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Make sure that Sewickley Township didn't have to deal with it,
exactly,
so it's not done yet, they just started.
yeah.
So,
So with that said, are they in compliance with where they're at in the construction phase right now? Because there is some things that they need to do prior to, cutting down trees, moving dirt, I seen they have a sock up.
They have the sock up, that's all they
Beyond-
could
beyond
do at
that,
this point. I think
I don't,
they didn't wanna move any dirt because the rain was forecasted.
yeah.
So they probably didn't move any dirt yet, but the socks are up. That's about all they could do at this point. They ain't been there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I guess my question would be just to understand that they're in compliance with where they should be at this point in time.
I would say they are, but all you have to do is call Ron up and tell him this, have LSS go over and verify.
Conservation district's involved, they're in compliance.
Not that hard to do, but you can only expect them
I
to do
think
so
there was a
much.
question on that earlier, and Ron called Conservation District out, so,
Right at the beginning.
right at the very beginning,
Alexis and
right?
I were working on it, and they wanted, equipment in there, we were delaying them. And, they
So
took a piece
prior
of
to getting the
equipment over there.
development agreement in
Conservation
place and all
district
that,
called
so.
and they took
You
care
have
of it.
questions on the radio?
I know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, Patty.
I just have a curiosity question because I'm confused. I was under the impression that the Dollar General was going to be on the same side as the Little Super, but behind it. But now, from what I'm seeing at that corner, the Dollar General is across the street.
Across the street.
Okay, I just need. I went, what the hell's going on here? I was thoroughly confused.
Across the street and about 100 yards away
Yeah.
from the intersection.
Okay. Thank you.
And again, if those documents for Dollar General were on the website that people could go and access, there would be a lot of information that would be publicly
Part of the
available.
stuff we're doing is to update a website, to get a website up to speed, like we've been talking about it, but it takes money to do, so, and time. So,
Is it in the budget for this year?
I don't believe it is. Well, yeah, it is.
It is under the stamp.
So, yeah, under the stamp program, so that's in process, but it hasn't taken place yet. So
Okay.
a lot of that stuff's gonna be revamped, it's gonna change things, so, hopefully it will help to write the no request. So, but in process, we can't do it overnight, and we're waiting on money and just the process that it has to go through to get there, so hopefully this year, by next year, we'll be in a little better shape. All right, done with the comments, let's go to, administration. You guys have all received the treasurer's report? Questions or comments on that? FY 2023 State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program, ratified the application and approval. We took action on that. And I guess Ron can explain that a little bit. I received an email from the state a few weeks ago, and this was about cybersecurity for the township, which is something that we're involved with the website and everything, so I wasn't real familiar with all that. I sent it to Ron. Ron sent it to Grassroots, I believe.
No, I took your information, I took it to our IT department, asked them, the process that they were offering, the programming they were offering, is it something that we already had? Was it something that we needed, or something we could, move forward with and make it a better cybersecurity access into our, current computer system? And, they said that some of it we already have. They says, but there's 4 phases that goes into it. First phase we've already completed here. Their second and third phase would be very helpful for us. It's very expensive. And the fourth phase, it wouldn't be suitable for us. It's just we're not that big to that type of security. But he said that the second and third phase would be something we'd be interested in. The funding for it was approximately $10,000. The Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency is gonna pay for $8,371,000 of it. There was to be a 20% match, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is gonna utilize their funding and pay for the 20% match from municipalities. So it's not gonna cost us anything, it's 100% funded.
100% funded, yeah.
So it's about a $10,000 project.
So it really helps our security. So it was a good check. We had to have it applied for by April 1st. So today's April 2nd, so we're just gonna ratify that purchase.
Yes, it was on our stamp program evaluation that was something that was lacking for our township.
Right,
So
I remember that. So
it fits in there.
very important in today's world to
Yep.
keep everything up, cybersecurity. So with that, we need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. Public safety, police report. You guys have all seen, we got a police report from Greg earlier today. I only saw one school bus flashing light that got pulled over. But I still hear conversations going on about crazy drivers around school buses. I can't get around it, so.
Yeah, it continues to happen. We continue to do our best to enforce it.
So I guess we've had, the rest of the public probably doesn't know, you want to elaborate a little bit on our, we had a dog bite?
We did. We had an officer attacked by a dog last week. He's recovering and doing well and came back to work, so.
He did come back to work?
Yeah.
Good. He's going through the rabies protocol. So.
Did he shoot the dog?
No.
Fritz. I'm sorry. I have two dogs.
I know you don't say that in public.
How about Officer Brown?
He is still off on workers' compensation and doing what he needs to do to hopefully return soon.
So we're utilizing our disability insurance.
We are.
Anything further, I mean, from today's aspect, a little.
No, it's been raining.
Trees, everything's secure as far as we know.
The only other thing I wanted to add is that Officer Jones will be recognized April 30th at 11 a.m. at the Beaver County Courthouse by the Beaver County Commissioners for the life-saving measures he took on February 28th.
Says that little 8-year-old girl, yes. Yeah. Very
What
good.
time is that?
11 a.m.
Okay, that takes us to item B. Approved it.
I move to hire Hunter Bach and Nathan Kuhnfair on a part-time basis, and at the successful completion of their field training, they would be promoted to full-time officers.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. Item C, police, approval to sponsor Nathan Kuhnfair for the Police Academy.
I move to approve sponsoring Nathan Kuhnfair for the Police Academy.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I think I asked this last week. He will be ours for extended, after he graduates. Does he have a residency requirement that he would stay with us for a period of time?
We're, as part of the hiring bonus grant that we received, we're working on a agreement that he would have to stay here for a specific amount of time.
Okay. Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. Brings us to our fire departments. Monthly reports you guys should have got copies of. Anybody want to comment from
Just a couple
Fire
of things.
District 52?
Pine Run and Big Nog put in a joint FEMA AFG grant application for self-contained breathing apparatus. It's in the neighborhood of $290,000.
Wow.
That will put us in good shape for 15 years as far as breathing apparatus goes if we're awarded that, so let's keep our fingers crossed. And
I'm sorry, what is that?
self-contained breathing apparatus,
Yeah, what is it?
the air supply tanks you wear on your back.
Oh, okay.
Is that for everybody, or how many?
That's 30 breathing apparatus, 30 extra cylinders, and a couple rescue breathing apparatus packs.
Is that for Pine Run or?
Both. Joint.
Good.
Nice.
For the New Sewickley Fire District.
New Sewickley Fire District.
Right.
And now,
So who can help you with that, as far as any of the representatives, or?
not right now, I mean, it has to go through the FEMA.
Going through FEMA, that's federal.
Self-contained breathing apparatus is typically the #1 thing that people apply for in those grants.
You guys have some now?
We do. We have effectively 3 years service left in what we have. And one of the things that may help us in the grant is the ability to standardize. The departments currently have 2 different types of breathing apparatus. So we hope to standardize and move forward with that.
These packs don't go to each individual member, they stay on the apparatus, so our fire engine, their fire engine, the tankers, rescue trucks, they are mounted in the vehicle to be taken off, when
As
necessary.
needed.
Correct.
And the other thing I'd like you to be aware of, I'd like to commend the members of both departments for their dedication to training. There's been an intensive amount of training effort going on this year. These are multiple weeknights, weekends. This is in addition to everything else that we ask of them. And the township's fortunate to have them with that level of training and skill. So.
Please let them know that we appreciate that, and send our commendation to them, because I know you've had some new recruits too, which is big.
We do.
We applaud your efforts. You guys are doing a great job over there. A lot of work.
Thank you.
We're down about pushing 4 to 6 weeks, we're hoping, for completion of the addition. So sometime early May, mid-May, we'll be up and running with everything over there.
I'd like to compliment you guys on the communal investment you've made. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful building. Really looks good.
Road Department. Want the report? You should have got something from RJ. I know RJ was out today, clearing a lot of drains and tree limbs and what you could, to maintain safety around the township. We appreciate that effort. Make sure you let the guys know that they were in harm's way today a little bit, and we appreciate their effort.
Thank you.
Anything you need us to be aware of?
No, just doing our spring stuff, spring cleanup. That's it.
Okay. Good luck, I washed down the river today.
Yeah.
And next on the agenda, approve the bid for liquid asphalts and rental equipment. We'll take action on that. RJ, you want to explain that a little bit?
Every year we put out for liquid asphalt and rental equipment. It helps so we don't pay prevailing wage. It gets us better prices and just how we do our bidding. So.
You see the numbers in front of you guys. We'll be moving on the low bidder, which is Youngblood.
I move to approve the 2024 contracts with Youngblood Paving for liquid asphalt and rental equipment.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Yes. Chris. Mike.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. Engineering. See you, Josh. I haven't had a chance to read your report, but it's been a busy month for LSSE. Put you in the hot seat.
Not really a whole lot new to note, unless you guys have any questions, I guess, regarding Willem Park. We did issue a punch list letter, so as of last week, they still have some minor items to address out there.
It's not completely done yet in there.
I
I
mean,
got a good test today.
It's
done.
It's substantially complete. There's just some minor punch list items remaining. Yeah, I mean, out of that, we had a couple development reviews that were
Yeah.
were issued, for Dollar General and Meadow Crest. Other than that, not a whole lot, unless you guys have specific questions you wanna go over.
I don't think tonight, we'll have a hearing coming up that you guys will be involved in. Unless you guys have anything further for engineering?
From Meadow Crest, we had talked, in the agenda meeting, I went and I talked with Sean. I don't know if he talked to you about it or anything, but.
Briefly.
Okay, so, essentially what we were doing is we were looking at, he was going to put together,
We're putting together calculations
Yeah.
on what the 10% reduction rate would be for sediment loading, and that's an urbanized, considered an urbanized area, so.
correct, yeah, he's putting all that together so we can get our head around, you know, how big, it would be.
So, yeah, we're currently going through those calculations now. Probably get them to Ron next week sometime, and I can share it with you guys.
I spoke to Kevin about it the last few days.
We should have those for the
Yeah,
hearing.
he's putting them together. Sean's the guru with the stormwater, so
Right.
he's gonna work with him and John and get his calculations put together for us.
All right. Any further?
The public would like just the report read through if, on the Meadowcrest, if that's an option, or we can request it after the meeting to have that available.
I don't have a problem with you having a copy of it.
Okay. Have to wait 30 days for a right-to-know request to get it.
A response letter on just the,
No, your report in front of you.
Report do we have?
our engineering report?
Yes.
I don't see any problem with just giving it to her.
All right, yeah, we'll give it to her.
Valid right to know. Okay.
Okay. Takes us to our solicitor. Anything the solicitor thinks we should know?
Sure, so I provided you all with a written report earlier today, just sort of a catch up on, the activities that I've undertaken this month for you all. That included some employment, contract reviews, advice on benefits, advising on, the Meadowcrest process and, obtaining a time extension from them. I think we have the advertisement all wrapped up and ready to go for, if that's approved later this evening. Then there was also, I attended a status conference in the Verizon land use appeal in the Beaver County Court of Common Pleas in March. And, the noise issue that we discussed last week. There's been a lot of activity on that, or I'm sorry, not last week, last month. There's been a lot of activity on that. We did have a meeting with the tenant of that space, and they're willing to continue to work with the township to try to mitigate the noise as is reasonable. But again, they're a willing participant. The conversation was friendly, so there's been active steps taken to, move that along. And unless there's any additional questions, I think that's all I have for right now.
On the outstanding items, the invocation.
Yeah, so I actually did, you guys were already provided with advice from your past solicitor regarding the permissibility of an invocation at the beginning of the meeting, and I did do a little bit of follow-up on that. And I'd be happy to tell you sort of, the advice that I sent Ron via email on that. But overall, I pretty much just fact-checked what had previously been done, and I didn't reinvent the wheel on that or spend too much time on it. But there's a memo available to the board if you want to take a look at it, and I'd be happy to discuss it. But I overall agree with what the former solicitor provided to you guys, and I don't know if that was in 2023 or.
Right, here's leaving.
Yeah, so 2023, so it's recent.
It came in late this afternoon, Steve, I'll get it to you.
I was doing a lot of stuff today. I submitted a lot of stuff to Ron this afternoon.
Been busy. All right, brings us to planning. The first item up is our 2023 annual report submitted for our information. Guess we all had a copy of that. Item B, approved of the McKinney-Lewis lot consolidation plan. We'll take action on that.
I move to approve the McKinney-Lewis lot consolidation plan pending comments from the county and a notation of clean and green added to the plan.
I'll second it.
Motion and a section. Second, any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Thank you.
Fritz?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Item number C, ordinance review, accessory structures, shipping container, and we've been batting that around a little bit, and Planning Commission has tabled that last meeting for more information, so I guess they're going to dig into that a little further and let us know what they come up with. Approval of forward proposed comprehensive plan to the county planning agency, all contiguous municipalities and the local school district. We'll take action on that, but we have questions or comments?
So I had submitted comments this afternoon. I'd like to work with LSSE to get those kind of resolved, and maybe we could get that done this week, and then forward that along, so.
So this motion could be approved, contingent on that.
Contingent on that.
So that you don't have to worry about doing it next month.
Okay with everybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to say that there was some things brought up last week that maybe it wasn't quite as good as it could have been because of some grammatical errors and that type of thing. And I spent a week along with some other people, I'm sure, going through and reading it. And to be honest, we found very few mistakes. I think it's absolutely a quality production. I mean, it's so inclusive. It tells the history, where we're going, the results of everything. It's just really well done. I like to thank the Planning Commission. I think they just did a super job putting it out. And having said that, I move to forward the proposed comprehensive plan to Beaver County Planning, all adjourning municipalities and Freedom Area school districts for comment. I guess with that addition, that any corrections or, is that right? We need to put that on?
Yeah, contingent on that.
Contingent on any corrections that have to be made, because some of them didn't come in I didn't turn mine in until yesterday, so. It's certainly, yes, so.
No, sir.
Motion is second, and I have an additional comment. I want to make sure I thank the Planning Commission for their hard work in this. And make sure you let the other members know that their efforts are greatly appreciated. There's a tremendous amount of information in this. It didn't just fall out of the sky. A lot of meetings took place. I attended a few of them, not every one. You guys really worked hard at that, in addition to all the Metacrest development and the normal things that are coming through, McKinney plans and Dollar General. You had a full slate this year, and your efforts did not go unnoticed.
Thanks.
So appreciate your efforts. And it was very well done. So I think where this, if it fell short in any way, is when you're reading something, then something's typing for you. It's not getting the pronunciation right. That's all it was. Because I noticed where he was talking about months round. I mean, most people can't pronounce that anyway. And this thing didn't record it right either. So I know it was months round, but anybody else reading it's not going to. So, a misspelled word here or there, I understand what the intent was. We want it to be as shiny as a document that it really is. And a tremendous amount of work. So thank you for all that.
I appreciate, speaking for myself, I appreciate all of you that took the time to read it, because after you read it so many times, you kind of miss a little spelling error here and there, and some of the commas and stuff, because you're looking at the other things, or you just, like I said, you've read it so many times that
you can't sit down and read the whole thing at once. There's a lot there to try to comprehend it all.
Yeah.
And now the challenge is to implement. So we have to discuss that with the board and with their manager and staff. And there's a lot of good points in there, a lot of good direction we need to take. Just like we're trying to implement water through the township, or not through the township, but a backbone system. It's going to require sewer at some point to further our subdivisions and to better our schools. So there's a lot that this plan will help us know what the community wants.
Yeah.
So
And it was great that they came out to the workshops.
I saw that workshop, they're incredible.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the information that was shared with us
Yes.
was
So
very valuable.
how we get cost-effective housing is the challenge, so in today's world. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about some of that and some of that zoning and the legalities of all that, and, you know, we've been battling that for years, so
It's the next step.
it's a big challenge, so. Anyway, with that said, need a roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes, but I will make my comment concerning the comprehensive plan at the end, and my vote is yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes. Okay. Now the big one, item E, approval to advertise and schedule a hearing for the Meadowcrest development on April 24th. That's all right with everybody? We'll take action on that.
I move to advertise and hold a public hearing for Meadowcrest Development on Wednesday, April 24th, 2024.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Chairman? Do we have to state a time at this point?
We probably should.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be at 6:30, so that's how,
6:30.
that's what I put into the advertisement.
Let's add that to it, 6:30.
Is there a location yet?
Well, the location was gonna be here.
I made a request to have it.
A request.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. You were gonna look into having it at the Grange.
Well, I don't see any reason why we can't have it here.
I don't either, personally. I think what happens, there'll be people who don't live in the community that will come in and take up time, seats, energy. I don't know, legally, can you only allow people to live in the township?
To provide
Is that
public
possible
comment?
or not?
Yeah, so, as we've discussed, kind of briefly in, February, and I think maybe even at, workshop meetings or, at other times, there's two different ways to participate in the hearing process as a, landowner, and that is either through the party status route, which is open to anybody, normally it's determined based on proximity, not resident status in terms of the township if someone was living within close enough proximity, but they happen to be across that municipal boundary, that's, not prohibitive of them participating as a party. Of course, there might be other things to be considered for their standing, but residency status isn't one. However, when it comes to public comment, it is allowable to sort of limit that to residents of the municipality, and then to limit it also to, the items to be considered for deliberation. So, no MS4 comments or things like that unless they were related to the development. It would have to be relevant sort of commentary. So limiting the public comment is doable.
The reason I asked that question, I remember when Energy Transfer was here. There were people from Sewickley, from Pittsburgh, from all over giving input that this was our decision, not theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But they came here and I think they hijacked the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't want to see that happen. I mean, I think I'm all in favor of, residents or even anybody that lives here, whether a renter or homeowner or, I mean, maybe that's a specious question, but I.
No, that's correct. Residents, leasing or owning is, permissible. They have an interest regardless of if they actually own the property or not, if they're, residency status. So the way that that's determined is by, at the beginning, like you normally do, you'll give your name and your address.
You have 7,000 residents in the township. I personally hosted a town hall meeting at the Grange and had over 70 people show up. there are going to be more than 20 people at the public hearing. You're going to need a bigger space. If you genuinely care to hear what the residents of New Sewickley have to say, I have made the request to have a larger space available. If not, you're going to have people standing outside.
Maybe we'll have to have 2 nights. We can do that. So
It's hard enough to get people to show up for one night.
The planning commission has had many meetings on this. And our engineering staff and attorneys have honed this down to pretty much, not completed status, but it's a progress point. So now we're opening it up to public comment. So public comment has been open for the public to comment on. So I guess, I don't think we need a bigger space at this time. I mean, if we need more days, that's what we'll do. Unless you guys feel different. Anybody feel different?
I think this is a good place.
Okay.
I don't have like I said, I don't have a good understanding of how many people are going to attend.
It's not like we get an invitation to just show up that night, so we don't know. But I've been to planning commission meetings and they've had as many as this, or a couple people standing and chairs and a couple people. So it seems like this room's adequate for what I've witnessed. So we'll go along those lines. So with that, need a roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Fritz? Mike?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes. Mr. Horn.
Could I, in our final letter to the supervisors, we included a long list of conditions and modifications. I think 2 things that were missing that we did not ask to be included on a final approval was a letter from the municipal authority that they're satisfied with the construction of the water lines. And the other one would be a letter from the engineer that the roads have been constructed to township specifications. And the reason for that is both of those are gonna be conveyed to the township.
So are you talking about, upon actual completion, the letter from the engineer saying that that's normal as of course, so that wouldn't have to be a condition. In fact, that's included in the developer's agreement, so, it doesn't need to be an additional condition because it's something that it's part of the larger developer's agreement. And
About
that's,
the water line?
that would probably be part of their agreement with the, municipal authority. I mean, the municipal authority is not gonna be accepting anything, but, if you.
They're gonna convey the water lines to the municipal.
Okay, then yeah, that would be part of their agreement, the municipal authority, I'm sure, I don't know, I'm not aware of who their solicitor is actually, but, I would imagine that there would not be an acceptance without them being, inspected by their engineer, probably camera inspected.
Well, the roads too would be important the day of paving. If anything the township's gonna be taken over, they should be inspected that day.
Yeah, so they would be inspected by LSSE, there'd be a letter or some, sort of record of LSSE saying this is up to our township standards. And then in addition, there's a municipal bond, or a maintenance bond, that's posted to, ensure that sort of, posterity for, the next 18 months.
Can inspect once it's paved. We'll look at it before.
Yeah.
So, okay. Very good. Takes us to recreation.
We just, this Saturday, we're having our annual cleanup day at the park. I don't know how well that's gonna go, but
I think it's all cleaned up tonight.
we were planning on doing some painting and all that, so who knows? And our big first event is in flea market in May. I think it's on May 11th. And other than that, Robbie's started work on Monday, but I don't think he's done much. So I'm sure he's going to do a fantastic job like he always has.
Ready to cut grass and ready for baseball.
Yep.
We're all dreading that grass cutting. It's coming. Very good. Appreciate your efforts. Zoning and building, I don't know if, I didn't get a chance to read that report. Anything we should know, Ron?
No, nothing, out of the ordinary, no houses, nothing new, just, generators being replaced at, cell towers.
Generators replaced at cell tower.
It's a big thing, I guess it's,
Oh.
just about all of them are getting replaced one by one. That and, solar panels on roofs.
Yeah, I see that quite a bit.
Big one.
Zoning hearing. There was a zoning hearing held on the 26th for an additional variance on an addition, I guess, down there on Glen Eden.
Yeah, you want the information on that?
I kind of know what it is. You guys see anything further on that?
So there was a zoning hearing held on March 26th at 751 Glen Eden Road. There was a non-conforming residence that already was too close to a property line. There's a detached garage as an accessory structure was permitted. It was conforming. They wanted to connect a breezeway to both of them, which would make both buildings non-conforming also. The zoning hearing board listened to their arguments and granted the variance. So they're permitted to build the breezeways in between.
He's probably underwater down here too. He's been a little bit lost.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. Board comments.
Yeah, usually it takes me a long time to say what I want to say, but 1955, I was in ninth grade in Ambridge, and we had a class called PA Civics. And you learned about your civic responsibilities, and you also learned about Pennsylvania. And incorporated that was your community of Ambridge. Every time I went down the hill out of my planned back road, Barber Lane, I saw this sign, Wallace City. I thought, what the hell was Wallace City? Why do they have this state sign? After last week, I read the comprehensive plan, and I finally found out what Wallace City is, or was. I found out the history of New Sewickley. I've only lived here 14 and a half years, but I learned so much about this community from that plethora of information. I learned especially interested in the school district. I learned everybody. It'd be nice if it was a required reading for citizenship to New Sewickley, but unfortunately you can't do that. But I just want to thank you. Sure, anything you write, there's always periods, commas, colons, but generally speaking, I thought it was the most historic thing I've ever read, and I'm still trying to earn my stripes in New Sewickley, and it helped me. I'm up to PFC now, but it's a wonderful read. Everybody should have to read that. It's unbelievable. And I want to thank everybody that put their time and effort. It had to be years. It just didn't happen in a week or a month. And I just want to give you accolades for all of you for what you did. It's a wonderful read.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any further? Wish to adjourn.
Go ahead.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
That's it. Questions or comments? All in favor, signify
Mark,
by saying. Oh,
Sorry. Go ahead, Ben. You just gotta.
I got a question on this water runoff.
water runoff, okay?
Yeah, I just got my bill in the mail. Okay, why are we paying this? I heard it's from the EPA finding the township.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a good legal description of why we're paying that. Sean, you got, Josh?
So it's not a fine, a fee, or it's not a fee, right?
It's a fee.
It's a fee.
Okay, it's not a tax, it's a fee.
It's not a tax, it's a fee.
It's a fee that's addressed to essentially everyone in the township, and the goal is for the township's guys to pay for stormwater management. So this fee is supplementing the township to complete the necessary improvements that's mandated by DEP.
Mainly for municipal water, not just runoff, it's municipal water control.
Meaning what goes through the pipes.
Yeah, well.
Because
any
I
roads-
knows I had a place in Monaca,
Mhm.
and I talked to some people, nobody else has this. So how come we're paying and like these other places are not? I mean, it's just come up new all of a sudden. That's what, this third year now? Right.
Brighton Township has it, New Brighton has it, Cranberry has it. It's all around us.
It's all around us.
It's just something new.
The economy's working on it.
Something new within the last 3 or 5 years.
So it's
Where you're
not
not,
the
where you're
EPA.
not, where you're not seeing it is a lot of these bills, like in Monaco or places like that, it's in their sewer bill. It's $4 or $6 a month in their sewer bill, and people don't even know they're paying it. They have no idea. In our case, we don't have city sewer through everywhere, so we have to charge a fee. And that's where you're getting the $74.
Okay, that brings me to the next question.
Okay.
I had a place, she had a place in Monaco, their sewer and water was cheaper than what we pay here. Alright, so if it's included, it was cheaper, and now ours is going up 15%. And the cost of living average the last 10 years is only under 3%. So that's 5 times the cost of living increase. So she's retired, I'll be retired soon. How are we supposed to pay that on a fixed income if it keeps going up like that?
I was just made aware of it last night myself, so I don't, this board doesn't control those cost increase as far as the water
Yeah.
municipal authority.
We don't have no choice where we get our water? And is there like a contract to, you know, most places you don't just go year to year and they jack it up wherever they want. You get a, 5-year locked in.
Yeah, I'm not privy to why they do, where they're getting the water and why they do it the way they do it, so we trust that they're doing the best things they can do for the township.
Okay. Well, I think we should look into it though.
We can look into that a little further.
Because like I said, people's retired, there's a lot of older folks in New Sewickley.
wanna put
And their social security don't go up, they go by the inflation rate.
We're all in the same boat.
I know.
Our incomes are coming down and
I know.
everything's up 30%.
Well, I just wanted to raise up my concerns on that. because
You weren't here for a lot of the beginning of the meeting.
I thought it was 7:30.
We have the same thing, all our costs are up. I mean, tires for the trucks, electric bills, and we pay the same, and we're trying to not raise taxes. But these guys, when they get bills from other entities, because we don't produce the water, they buy the water and then distribute it.
We get it from Ambridge, don't we?
Ambridge, right. Part of it.
I mean, Ambridge has got increased costs too. The big thing that we're finding out, even with this water line, is the pipes cost more. I mean, they're double what they used to cost. So we're all in the same boat. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna afford to even survive the way this keeps going. So something's,
Municipal authority meets first Monday of the month.
first Monday of the month, so you can go down there and meet with Todd or Larry and see what they have to tell you, but I mean, they're gonna tell you the same thing. They get cost increase, they gotta pass them on. I mean, you gotta have water, so you gotta have sewer, so we're looking into all that stuff, but there's not a whole lot, we don't have a lot of control of it. We don't produce our own water. It's too bad we can't collect it, right?
No, I was just saying we can't get it anywhere else. We're stuck.
I think they got 3 choices, and it all depends on where the pipes are coming from.
I know that.
So, and then water quality too, so I mean, you gotta look into all that, so. There's a lot that goes into it, and I don't perceive to know all that, what goes into it, but that's what their job is, and I'm trusting that they're doing the best they can do.
Okay.
Okay? Appreciate your comment. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.